At the height of the party, my wife humiliated me by throwing me out of my own house until a single recording shattered her perfect world into pieces. Be me, 31-year-old Ethan. Just finished 5-day trip to Boston. Trip was absolute hell. Endless meetings and strategy sessions. Late nights discussing projects over whiskey. Not a single moment of peace. Finally boarding my flight home. Completely drained but relieved. Have a simple plan in mind. Going to surprise Amanda by coming home 2 days early. Want to have that quiet evening together we haven't had in months. Plane lands at 5:15 p.m. Didn't tell Amanda I was coming. We used to love surprising each other like that. Always did little spontaneous things to keep the spark alive. But lately everything feels one-sided. Amanda has become distant. Not cruel or anything, just detached. Our long conversations have turned into short small talk. Keep telling myself it's just a phase. Maybe stress from her work or something. Get home around 6:30. Notice something weird right away. Driveway is packed with cars. Don't recognize any of them. They're even spilling onto the street. Can hear bass-heavy music coming from inside. Who throws a party on a Wednesday night? Stomach starts doing flips. Walk through the front door, still holding my suitcase. Freeze in place at what I see. Living room is packed with strangers. Our space has been invaded. People sprawled on our couch. Everyone has drinks in hand. Laughter echoing everywhere. Coffee table covered in beer bottles and wine glasses. Looks like a college frat party. Then I spot Amanda, standing by the fireplace, wearing some tiny black dress I've never seen before. Her back is to me. She's laughing at something, hand casually resting on some guy's arm. He's leaning in way too close. Room goes dead quiet as people notice me. Amanda turns around. For a split second, her face shows pure shock. Then panic flashes across her features. She quickly covers it with a forced smile. "Ethan," she says. Her voice is high-pitched and brittle. "You're home early!" Guy behind her starts shifting uncomfortably. Amanda doesn't move to greet me. Doesn't even try to explain anything. Instead, she steps forward, positions herself to block my view of the guy. Like she could somehow make me unsee what I just witnessed. "I can see that," I say coldly. My eyes scan the room. "What's going on here?" "It's just a little get-together," she says. Her tone is weirdly casual. "You know, some friends from where exactly?" I cut her off. My voice is louder than intended. "Because I don't recognize a single person here. And I sure as hell don't know him." Point past her at the guy. He's already inching toward the door. Like some guilty thief caught in the act. Amanda's face hardens. "Can we not do this right now?" "You're making a scene." Let out a bitter, humorless laugh. "A scene? You think I'm making a scene?" Take a step closer. Lower my voice to barely above a whisper. "I've been gone for 5 days, Amanda. 5 days. And I come home to this." Her eyes dart around the room, clearly uncomfortable with all the witnesses. She grabs my arm. Her nails dig into my skin. "Let's talk upstairs," she hisses through gritted teeth. "No," I say firmly. Pull my arm free from her grip. "We'll talk here. In front of your friends." Room is dead silent now. All eyes on us. Don't even care anymore. My gaze is locked onto hers, demanding answers. She opens her mouth to speak. Gets interrupted by the sound of the front door slamming. Turn just in time to see the guy. He's sprinting down the driveway. His car speeds off into the night. That's when the dam breaks. "Want to know who that was, Amanda?" I ask. My voice is trembling. Mix of anger and betrayal in every word. Her response isn't an apology. It's not even an explanation. It's a command. "Get out," she says. Her voice is ice cold. For a moment, think I misheard her. "What?" "You heard me," she says. Her eyes narrow to slits. "This is my house, and I don't need you ruining the night for everyone. Just go." Stand there in complete disbelief. This isn't my wife. This isn't the woman I married. Something in me snaps. Reach into my coat pocket. Pull out a folded piece of paper. It's a letter I wasn't planning to show tonight. Inside are results from a private investigator. Had hired them during my trip. Been suspicious for weeks. Now grateful I didn't ignore my gut. Hand her the letter without saying a word. Watch her face go pale as she reads it. Color drains from her cheeks completely. When she finishes, she looks up at me. Her expression is a mix of fury and fear. What did you do?" she whispers. "Found the truth," I say simply. "Now it's your turn. Decide how much of it you want these people to hear." Her response is immediate and vicious. She snatches the letter, crumples it in her hand, slams the door right in my face. That's the moment I know. This isn't going to end quietly. Stand there on the front porch, still holding my suitcase. Door slam echoes in my ears. Feel completely paralyzed. Chest is tight, breathing shallow. She just slammed the door on me. In my own damn house. People inside haven't even tried to stop her. Can hear muffled whispers, nervous laughter as they pretend nothing happened. The audacity of it all burns in my chest like wildfire. But I don't leave. Instead, lean against the doorframe and wait. Not going to let her shut me out of this conversation. Not tonight. Not after what I've uncovered. Think back to the letter she just crumpled. That letter was my weapon. And I wasn't done wielding it. Had hired the private investigator on a whim, spurred by weeks of uneasy feelings I couldn't shake. Took less than a week for the detective to deliver. Sent me a complete file. Photos, timestamps, receipts. Everything confirmed my worst fears. The guy she was with tonight, he wasn't the first. Just the most recent. Door swings open abruptly. There she is. Amanda stands in the doorway. Her face is a mask of cold fury. Steps outside. Shuts the door behind her, keeping the partygoers from overhearing. "You had me followed?" she hisses. Her voice is low and venomous. "I did," I say calmly. Though inside I'm anything but calm. My hands are trembling. Heart is pounding so hard it might break through my ribs. And guess what? Turns out my instincts were right. Her eyes dart to the window, checking if anyone's watching us. "This is low, Ethan. Even for you." "For me," I say. My voice starts rising. "You've been sneaking around behind my back for God knows how long. And I'm the one who's low?" She crosses her arms, leans against the doorframe. Smug smirk curls her lips. "You know what your problem is? You're paranoid. Always have been. You're so busy imagining problems that you can't see how miserable you've made this marriage." "Miserable?" I repeat, completely stunned. "Amanda, you're cheating on me? You invited some guy into our home. You threw a party while I was gone. How exactly am I the problem here?" "You're so dramatic," she says. Rolls her eyes like I'm being ridiculous. "It was just a party. You're acting like I killed someone." Feel anger rise in my throat, hot and bitter. "A party?" I step closer. "What about the hotel receipts? The late night meetups? The photos of you with that guy from the coffee shop last month? Was that just a party too?" Her face pales slightly, but she recovers quickly. "You're pathetic," she says, voice dripping with disdain. "Digging through my life like some desperate stalker. Maybe if you spent half as much energy making me happy as you do playing detective, we wouldn't be here right now." Laughed bitterly at her words. "Making you happy? Is that your excuse? That I didn't make you happy enough? So you decided to screw around behind my back?" Her expression hardens like concrete. "Believe what you want," she says. Turns toward the door. "I don't owe you an explanation." Before she can go back inside, grab her wrist. Not hard, just enough to stop her. She freezes, glares at me with pure hatred. "We're not done," I say firmly. "You're going to tell me the truth. All of it. And then, Amanda, you're going to tell me why the hell you think I should be the one to leave." She yanks her arm away from me, stares at me with a look that could cut glass. "You want the truth, Ethan?" she says, her voice sharp and cold as ice. "Fine. The truth is I've been over this marriage for years. You're boring. Predictable. You make everything about you. And honestly, I didn't think you'd even notice." Her words hit me like a sledgehammer. Try to respond, but she doesn't give me the chance. "And another thing," she continues, steps closer to me now, her voice rising with each word. "I'm not sorry. I don't regret a single thing. So go ahead, take your little letter. Take your righteous anger and do whatever you need to do, because I'm done." Turns on her heel, marches back inside, slams the door once again. This time I don't follow her. Stand there on the porch, staring at the closed door, her words repeat in my head like a broken record. "I'm not sorry. I don't regret a single thing." Something inside me shifts. The shock and heartbreak are still there. But now they're joined by something else, something colder. If she thinks I'm just going to walk away quietly, she's dead wrong. Don't leave the porch. Not yet. Mind is racing. Emotions clashing like storm clouds inside me. Feel humiliated. Feel betrayed. But above all, feel absolutely furious. Her words keep echoing. "I'm not sorry. I don't regret a single thing." She wants me to leave. Fine. But not before I burn her fantasy world to the ground. Step back to the door. My hand hovers over the handle. Can hear muffled music and laughter inside. The thought of her going back to her party, laughing and drinking like nothing happened, lights a fire in my chest. Push the door open. Step inside. Room falls silent instantly. All heads turn to look at me. Amanda's standing by the kitchen counter, wine glass in hand, freezes mid-laugh. Her smug expression falters, replaced by a flicker of anger. "What are you doing?" she hisses, sets her glass down hard. "What am I doing?" I shoot back, my voice loud and steady. "What are you doing, Amanda?" "Throwing a party in the house we built together. While you're sneaking around with some random guy." Room is dead silent now. Everyone stares at us. Tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Amanda's face reddens, but she quickly masks it with a fake smile. "Ethan, stop embarrassing yourself," she says. Her voice drips with condescension. Why don't you go cool off? Oh, I'm cool, I say. Step further into the room. Pull my phone from my pocket. Hold it up for everyone to see. In fact, I'm so cool. I've got receipts. Want to see them, Amanda? Want your friends to see them? Her eyes widen slightly. But she doesn't back down. You're being ridiculous, she says, through gritted teeth. Am I? Turn to address the stunned guests. Did she tell you all about her little rendezvous at the Marriott last month? Or how she canceled dinner with me because she was too busy working late with him? Gasps and murmurs ripple through the crowd. Amanda's carefully constructed facade crumbling before my eyes. And I'm not about to stop. Ethan, stop! She snaps, her voice rising to match mine. No, I think I'm just getting started, I say. Keep my voice steady but sharp. You see, I hired a private investigator. While I was out of town, turns out Amanda's been real busy. Lunches, late-night meetups, even bringing him here when she thought I wouldn't notice. So Amanda, why don't you go ahead? Tell everyone the truth. Or should I? Her face is a mask of fury now, hands clenched into fists at her sides. Room is frozen, everyone waiting for her response. You're pathetic, she spits finally, her voice shaking with anger. You think you can come in here and humiliate me? These people are my friends, Ethan. They know me. They'll believe me over your stupid little investigation. Take a step closer to her. Then explain something to me. Why did that guy you were all over earlier run out of here like a coward the second I walked in? Murmurs grow louder now. Her friends exchange uneasy glances. Amanda's confidence is slipping. She knows it too. This isn't worth my time, she says finally, grabs her wine glass, turns toward the kitchen. Oh, it's worth mine, I say. Follow right behind her. You wanted me to leave? Fine. But not before everyone here knows exactly who you are. Turn back to face the crowd. In case anyone's curious, the man she was with tonight isn't even the first. She's been seeing other guys for months. And while I was out of town, busting my ass to provide for us, she was here turning our house into her personal playground. One of Amanda's friends gasps audibly, blonde woman in a sparkly dress. Another guy starts edging toward the door, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Ethan, enough! Amanda shouts, slams her glass onto the counter. No, Amanda, I say. Keep my voice calm now. Enough is you lying to my face, disrespecting our marriage, and then trying to make me out to be the villain. Enough is you thinking you could get away with this, without consequences. She storms past me, heading for the stairs. I'm done with this, she snaps. Good, I call after her. Because so am I. As she disappears upstairs, room remains eerily quiet. Guests shuffle awkwardly, a few muttering excuses. Starting to leave. Don't try to stop them. Let them go. Let them take the story with them. Turn back toward the door, my suitcase still sitting where I left it. My hands are shaking, but my resolve is solid. She wanted me gone. I'd leave, but I wasn't going quietly. And I wasn't leaving empty-handed. Not yet. Don't let her storm off upstairs without following. Leaving her to brood, spin her lies, plot her next move. That's not an option. If tonight is going to end, it will end on my terms. The stairs creak under my weight. Each step a reminder of the years we'd spent in this house. Memories of lazy Sundays, Christmas mornings, late-night talks, all swirl in my mind, now tainted by the realization they meant nothing to her. The bedroom door is ajar. Push it open without knocking. Amanda's sitting on the edge of the bed, her back to me, furiously typing on her phone. Doesn't even flinch when I walk in. What, texting your little boyfriend? For advice on how to handle this? I ask. My voice sharp as a blade. She doesn't look up. You've made your point, Ethan. Now get out of my face. No, I say firmly. Step inside. Close the door behind me. We're not done. Finally, she puts her phone down, turns to face me, her expression hard and unyielding. What do you want from me? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm sorry you couldn't keep me interested. I'm sorry you're so obsessed with playing the perfect husband that you didn't notice how unhappy I was. Her words are like venom, each one cutting deeper than the last. But I don't flinch. Won't give her the satisfaction. Unhappy? I repeat. Cross my arms. You think that excuses what you've done? The lies? The cheating? The absolute disrespect? If you were so unhappy, why didn't you just leave? Leave? She lets out a bitter laugh. And give you the satisfaction of playing the victim? No thanks. Stare at her, stunned by how cold she's become. The woman I thought I knew is gone, replaced by this stranger. You've got some nerve, I say, shake my head in disbelief. I've been nothing but loyal to you, Amanda. I gave you everything. And this is how you repay me? She rolls her eyes dramatically. Loyalty doesn't mean anything when there's no passion, Ethan. You're boring. Predictable. I needed more. More? I bark. my voice rising with every word. So you destroy our marriage? Our life? For what? A fling? A few moments of excitement? You're pathetic. Her eyes flash with anger. She stands up, squares off with me. You think you're so much better than me, don't you? She snaps. But you're not. You're controlling, needy, and so wrapped up in your perfect little world that you didn't even notice I was drowning. You didn't talk to me, I shoot back. You didn't give me a chance to fix anything. You just decided to go behind my back and blow up our lives. That's on you, Amanda, not me. For a moment, the room is silent, tension between us thick and suffocating. Then she smirks. A cruel, bitter smile makes my blood boil just looking at it. You think you've won, don't you? She says, her voice dripping with sarcasm. You've embarrassed me in front of my friends, called me out like some kind of hero. But let me tell you something, Ethan. You're not walking out of this unscathed. You want war? Fine, let's go to war. Her words hit me like a slap. There's no remorse in her, no regret, just defiance. You really think this is a game, don't you? I say, my voice low and cold. Well, let me tell you something, Amanda. I don't lose, turn and walk out. Slam the door behind me. My heart is pounding, hands shaking. But I don't stop. Head downstairs, grab my suitcase, leave the house. Night air is cool against my face. Stand in the driveway, staring back at what used to be my sanctuary. She thinks she's won by kicking me out, by trying to take control of the situation, but she doesn't know what's coming next. Because this isn't over, not by a long shot. Sit in my car in the driveway, engine idling, mind racing at full speed, leaving now with tail between my legs. Would be exactly what Amanda wants. She'd expect me to lick my wounds, let her take control of the narrative, eventually fade into irrelevance, while she paints herself as the victim. That's not going to happen. I have the letter, I have the evidence, I have the receipts, I have the photos, I have the knowledge of who she really is, and now I have a purpose. This isn't about saving the marriage anymore. That's long dead. This is about making sure she doesn't get to walk away unscathed. The first move comes almost instinctively. Pick up my phone, dial the private investigator. He answers on the second ring. Ethan, he says, voice steady and professional. What's the update? It's time, I say simply. There's a pause, then a quiet understanding. Understood. The investigator has files. Every bit of dirt he's uncovered. Neatly organized, photos, videos, even text logs. He'd managed to retrieve them from Amanda's burner phone. Tell him to package everything. Send it to my lawyer tonight. Next, I call my lawyer. Henry is sharp, ruthless, been handling my business affairs for years. When I tell him what's happening, he doesn't hesitate. I'll start drafting the paperwork, he says. Divorce? Full asset protection? Yes, I reply. And I want a restraining order ready to file. If she tries anything, I'm not giving her an inch. Understood, Henry says. I'll have something ready for you by morning. Stay out of the house until this is handled. Let me do the heavy lifting. Hang up, my hands trembling. Not with fear, but with adrenaline. This is a side of me I hadn't known existed. A cold, calculating resolve that has no room for emotion. But I'm not done yet. Open my email. Compose a message. The recipients? Every single person Amanda invited to her party, along with her closest friends and family. Subject line reads, "The truth about Amanda." The body of the email is simple. Attach the most damning pieces of evidence. A photo of her holding hands with one of her lovers. At a hotel bar, a receipt for a hotel room she'd booked under a fake name. A text exchange where she bragged, "Finally having the freedom to do what I want." Without Ethan knowing, the message reads, "To everyone concerned, I apologize for the public nature of this, but I believe you all deserve to know the truth. Amanda has spent months lying, cheating and disrespecting the life we built together. While I was away working to support our family, she was entertaining other men in our home, in hotels and wherever else she thought she could get away with it. Attached, you'll find evidence of her actions. I have no interest in further discussions or reconciliation. This is simply to ensure that no one is misled by whatever version of events she chooses to share. Regards, Ethan." It's nuclear, but I don't care. She had humiliated me, destroyed our marriage, treated me like an afterthought. If she wanted war, she'd just gotten it. Hit send. Watch as the email disappears into cyberspace. For the first time that night, feel a flicker of calm. Not peace. There's no peace in this, but the satisfaction of knowing I'm not sitting back and taking it. Start the car. Drive to a hotel downtown. Mind already racing. With what tomorrow will bring, whatever Amanda thought of me before. She's about to see a whole new side of Ethan, and I'm not going to stop until her perfect little world crumbles around her. The next morning, wake up in the cold, sterile silence of a hotel room. The events of the night before hit me like a freight train, but instead of dread, feel a strange clarity. This is the beginning of the end, and for once, I'm holding all the cards. Pick up my phone to check the damage. The email has done its job. My inbox is flooded with responses. Shock, disbelief, and from some of Amanda's closest friends, thinly veiled outrage. I'm not surprised. The loyal ones would circle the wagons around her. But the others, they've already started to turn. One reply stands out. It's from Rebecca, Amanda's best friend since high school. Ethan, I don't know what to say. I knew she was unhappy, but I didn't think it was like this. Please know I don't condone what she's done. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Her message is short, careful, and exactly what I expected. Rebecca has always been the diplomat of their friend group. She won't publicly turn on Amanda, but she also won't defend the indefensible. File her message away. Turn my attention to the rest of the fallout. Social media is already buzzing. Amanda's Instagram, once a carefully curated gallery of filtered perfection, is eerily quiet now. The comment sections on her recent posts, filling with vague questions and passive-aggressive digs. My phone buzzes. Call from Henry. It's moving quickly, he says. Doesn't even bother with hello. The petition for divorce is ready to file. I'll need your signature by noon. As for the assets, we've secured your accounts and flagged the house. If she tries to pull anything, it'll be caught immediately. Good, I say. Lean back in the stiff hotel chair. Anything else? She's going to fight back, Ethan. People like her don't just roll over. Be ready for retaliation. Thank him and hang up. His words echo in my head. Retaliation. Of course she wouldn't let this go quietly, but I'm ready. An hour later, back in the car, heading toward the house. Have no intention of staying long. Just need to grab a few things. As I pull into the driveway, notice Amanda's car is gone. Good. The house is eerily silent. As I step inside, remnants of the party still there. Empty glasses, crumpled napkins, faint smell of spilled alcohol. It's a graveyard of her reckless behavior. Go upstairs. Head straight for the bedroom. My suitcase still sitting in the corner, where I dropped it the night before. Untouched. Begin packing what I need, moving quickly and efficiently. Clothes, documents, a few personal items. But as I open one of the drawers, something catches my eye. A small unmarked box, tucked beneath a pile of her scarves. Pull it out. Open it. Inside is a burner phone. My heart races as I power it on. Screen flickers to life. Phone isn't password protected. Within seconds, I'm scrolling through everything. A flurry of texts, photos, call logs. It's worse than I imagined. Messages to at least 3 different men, each one more incriminating than the last. Flirtatious texts, explicit photos, even plans to meet at specific times and places. But one message stands out. I think he's on to me. If he finds out it's over, let's be careful. Timestamp is from 2 weeks ago. Stare at the screen, my blood boiling. She knew. She'd known I was suspicious. And instead of coming clean, she doubled down. My phone buzzes in my pocket, jolts me back to reality. It's Rebecca. Ethan, she says quickly, her voice tense. Amanda's furious. She knows about the email, and she's talking about calling a lawyer. She's also spreading rumors, saying you've been controlling and emotionally abusive. Clench my jaw. Of course, she'd try to flip the script. Thanks for the heads up, I say curtly. Be careful, Rebecca adds. She's not thinking straight. And when Amanda gets like this, well, you know how she is. Hang up without responding. My focus is on the burner phone. This is my ace, my proof that her lies run deeper than even I had suspected. Leave the house. The box tucked securely in my bag. Amanda wanted to play dirty. She'd just given me everything I needed. To bury her. The drive back to the hotel is a blur. My mind churns with plans. Every move and counter-move, laid out like a chessboard in my head. Amanda had tipped her hand. But she doesn't realize how far ahead I'm already thinking. The burner phone is more than just evidence. It's leverage. It confirms every suspicion I'd had, paints a clear picture of her deceit, and most importantly, proves that she'd known exactly what she was doing. Once back at the hotel, sit at the small desk, go through the phone in detail. The messages paint a damning timeline. Of her infidelity, one man stands out. Stephen. His name pops up in nearly every thread. His tone overly familiar. His photos, well, inappropriate doesn't even begin to cover it. There are exchanges about sneaking around the house, mocking me for being clueless. Plans for their next meeting. They'd even joked about the party, calling it a great cover for him to be in the house. My jaw clenches as I read the messages. If I'd come home just a few hours later, would he have still been there? Would I have walked into something even worse? But one message in particular stops me cold. Stephen, when are you telling him? You said you'd end it before Christmas. Amanda, I will. Just waiting for the right time. He's too distracted with work to notice anything right now. She'd planned this. It wasn't a moment of weakness or a fling that spiraled out of control. She'd been orchestrating the end of our marriage while smiling in my face, playing the perfect wife. My phone buzzes again. Another call from Rebecca. This time I answer. Ethan, she starts, her voice tight with urgency. Amanda knows about the burner phone. She's freaking out. She thinks you're going to use it against her. She's right, I say. My tone flat. Rebecca sighs. Look, I know you're angry. Angry? I cut her off. My voice rising. Rebecca, she humiliated me, lied to me, brought another man into our home. And now she's trying to turn this on me. Spare me the lecture. I'm not lecturing you, Rebecca says quickly. I'm warning you. She's desperate, Ethan. When Amanda's cornered, she doesn't just roll over. She lashes out. Let her, I say coldly. I'm ready. Rebecca hesitates. What are you planning? You don't want to know, I reply. End the call. Spend the next few hours carefully assembling my next move. The burner phone's contents are downloaded to a secure drive. Copy sent to my lawyer. I also forward select screenshots to a few trusted friends, people who can vouch for me. If Amanda tries to twist the narrative further, by late afternoon, have everything in place. The divorce paperwork is ready, the evidence secured, and my next move planned. But I'm not finished yet. Pick up my phone. Call the one person Amanda wouldn't expect. Her mother. Ethan? Margaret's voice is cautious but warm. She and I have always gotten along, even when Amanda and I had rough patches. Hi, Margaret, I say. Keep my tone deliberately calm. I wanted to talk to you about something. It's important. There's a pause. This sounds serious. It is, I say. I need you to hear this from me before Amanda twists it. She's been cheating on me for months. I have evidence, proof of everything, and I'm filing for divorce. Margaret gasps. Oh my God, Ethan. I don't even know what to say. Are you sure? Yes, I say firmly. I'm not telling you this to hurt you, but you deserve to know the truth. I'm not the villain here. No matter what Amanda might say, Margaret is silent for a long moment. When she finally speaks, her voice is trembling. I don't even recognize her anymore. She's been so distant, so cold. I thought it was just stress, but it's more than that, I say. And I wanted to make sure you knew what's really happening. Thank you for telling me, Margaret says softly. I don't know how I'm going to face her, but thank you. As I end the call, feel a strange mix of emotions. Relief that Margaret believes me, but also a deeper sadness. This isn't just my fight anymore. It's about to ripple out and affect everyone around us. Amanda had tried to paint me as the villain, but now the tide was turning. She wanted a war. She had no idea how far I was willing to go. Tomorrow I'd make my next move. And when I did, Amanda's carefully constructed world would collapse. The morning sunlight streams through the hotel window, but it brings no warmth. Wake up early, fueled by a restless determination. Today is the day. I take control. Amanda had lit the match. Now I was going to burn it all down. My first call is to Henry. I need the divorce papers filed today, I say. Don't bother with hello. And I want an emergency motion to freeze the house and our joint accounts. She can't get her hands on anything. It's already in motion, Henry replies smoothly. By the end of the day, she won't be able to move a dollar without my office knowing. Perfect, I say. There's one more thing. I want to publicly distance myself from her. Release a statement. Leak it if you have to. People need to know this is her doing, not mine. Henry pauses. That's a bold move. It might escalate things. That's the idea, I say. By the time I hang up, my plan is fully in motion. Check my email. No new messages from Amanda. Instead, there are more replies to my initial email blast. Most are supportive, others cautiously neutral. But one stands out. Ethan, you don't know me, but I thought you should know. Amanda isn't who she says she is. She's been doing this for years. You're not the first guy she's done this to, and you won't be the last. If you need more proof, let me know. I have stories. Peter. The name is unfamiliar, but his tone rings true. Yours, that was a new revelation. Reply immediately asking for details. While I wait, decide to pay one last visit to the house. This time I'm not there to pack or retrieve anything. I'm there to deliver a message. When I pull into the driveway, Amanda's car is parked out front. Step out, the burner phone in my pocket. Stride toward the door. Knock once. She opens it quickly, her face a storm of anger. What the hell are you doing here? She spits. I came to talk, I say. Step inside without waiting for an invitation. Amanda follows me into the living room, crossing her arms. You've already humiliated me enough. What more do you want? Turn to face her, my expression calm but cold. I want you to understand something. This isn't your game anymore. You don't get to control the narrative. Everyone knows who you are now, Amanda, and it's only going to get worse. She scoffs, but there's a flicker of fear in her eyes. You're bluffing. Pull the burner phone from my pocket. Toss it onto the coffee table. Her face goes pale as she recognizes it. Go ahead, I say. Read through it. Relive every lie, every plan, every betrayal, because I've already sent copies to my lawyer and a few of your friends. They deserve to know the truth. Don't you think? Amanda stares at the phone, her hands trembling slightly. Then she snaps. You're such a coward, she hisses, her voice shaking. You can't handle the fact that I moved on. You think ruining my reputation is going to fix anything? You think anyone cares about your sob story? I don't care if they pity me, I say evenly. I just care that they see you for what you are. Her composure cracks. She lunges for the phone, but I step between her and the table. You don't get to take the easy way out, I say. You made this mess, Amanda. Now you're going to live in it. She glares at me, breathing heavily, but doesn't try to push past me. Instead, she spits out, You're pathetic. I smirk. Maybe, but at least I'm not a liar. Before she can respond, my phone buzzes in my pocket. Pull it out. Glance at the screen. It's an email from Peter. The subject line reads, Proof attached. Turn the screen toward Amanda, my smile widening. As I open the message, looks like your past is catching up to you, I say. Scroll through the attached photos and messages. Her face twists in panic. Who is that? Who sent you that? Just someone you burned before me, I say. Pocket my phone. It seems your list of enemies is longer than I thought. Amanda's bravado crumbles. For the first time, she looks genuinely afraid. Ethan, she says, her voice suddenly soft, almost pleading. Please, we can fix this. Let's just talk about it. No, I say, my voice like steel. We're past talking. You wanted war, Amanda. Now you've got it. Turn and walk out of the house without looking back. This isn't just a collapse. This is a reckoning. As I leave the house, Amanda's desperate plea echoes in my mind. Please, we can fix this. It wasn't a sign of remorse. It was a survival instinct. She saw the walls closing in, and for once, she wasn't the one holding the reins. Good. Get back into my car. Take a deep breath. Open Peter's email again. The attachments are damning. Screenshots of conversations, explicit photos, even a few voice memos. Peter's story is clear. He'd been in a relationship with Amanda years before me, and the pattern was eerily familiar. Lies, infidelity, manipulation. She'd moved on from him, just as callously as she was trying to move on from me now. But what strikes me most is a line in his email. She always underestimated me, but I kept everything. People like her always think they'll get away with it. It hits close to home. Amanda had underestimated me too. Reply to Peter, thanking him. Ask if he'd be willing to speak with my lawyer. His response is almost immediate. Absolutely. Let me know when and where. With every piece of evidence, my case is growing stronger. But this isn't just about the legal battle anymore. This is about making sure Amanda can't spin her lies into another new start. As the day unfolds, the fallout becomes increasingly visible. My phone buzzes constantly. Texts and calls from mutual friends, many of them furious with Amanda. Greg, bro, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Hey, if you need anything, let me know. Lucy. I don't know what to say. I always thought she was off. Now I get it. Even Rebecca reaches out again. She's losing it, Ethan, she says. She's calling everyone, trying to get ahead of the story. She told me you're fabricating everything. To ruin her life, let out a bitter laugh. Let her try. I've got enough evidence to sink her 10 times over. Rebecca hesitates. You're not wrong, but just be careful. She's unpredictable when she feels trapped. Thank her and hang up, though her warning lingers in my mind. Later that afternoon, Henry calls with an update. We filed the paperwork, he says. The house and accounts are frozen, and the divorce petition is airtight. She won't have any wiggle room. Good, I say. And the burner phone evidence? Already submitted as part of the case, with the email from Peter. And the timeline we've established, it's going to be hard for her to paint herself as a victim. For the first time in weeks, feel a glimmer of satisfaction. But this is far from over. Around 6 p.m., receive a text from an unknown number. You're playing a dangerous game, Ethan. Walk away while you still can. My stomach churns. Doesn't take much to guess who sent it. The tone screams of desperation. A last-ditch attempt to intimidate me. Reply calmly. Nice try, Amanda. See you in court. Block the number immediately. That evening, sit in the quiet of my hotel room, Mind wanders back to the life we'd built together. The trips, the celebrations, the quiet moments of laughter. All of it now feels like a carefully crafted illusion. A performance she'd been perfecting for years. But illusions only last, as long as no one looks too closely. Take out the burner phone one last time. Stare at the screen. It's a trophy of sorts. A symbol of her hubris. And my resolve. Amanda's perfect little world is falling apart. And I'm just getting started. The next morning, wake up to chaos. My phone is flooded with notifications. Calls, texts, emails, social media pings. Amanda has launched her counterattack. First sign is a long Facebook post she's written. It's as dramatic as I expected, dripping with faux vulnerability and martyrdom. I never thought I'd have to do this, but I can't stay silent anymore. Ethan has been trying to destroy my life, spreading lies about me, turning people against me. He's always been controlling, manipulative, and emotionally abusive. I made mistakes, but no one deserves this kind of treatment. To anyone who knows the real me, thank you for your support. I need you now more than ever. The comments are split. Some of her friends and family rush to her defense, parroting her accusations, vilifying me. Others, including mutual friends, ask pointed questions, express doubt. I'm not surprised by her tactics. This is textbook Amanda, playing the victim, spinning the narrative, banking on the fact that most people won't look too closely. But this time I'm ready. Call Henry and update him. She's going public, I say. She's accusing me of emotional abuse. Henry's response is calm and measured. We anticipated this. Stick to the facts. Let her bury herself. The more she overplays her hand, the easier it'll be to disprove her claims in court. After the call, decide to address the situation head-on. Draft my own post, careful to keep it factual and unemotional. Many of you have seen Amanda's recent post. While I respect her right to share her perspective, I want to clarify a few things. The issues in our marriage stem from her repeated infidelity, which I have evidence to prove. This isn't about control or manipulation. It's about accountability. I filed for divorce, and the truth will come out in time. I appreciate those who've supported me. Through this difficult process, attach a single photo to my post, a screenshot from the burner phone, where Amanda had joked about deceiving me. It isn't overly revealing, but enough to plant doubt in the minds of anyone paying attention. The response is immediate. My inbox fills with messages, support, curiosity, outrage, many asking for more details, others expressing disbelief that Amanda could sink so low. But then comes the twist. I hadn't expected, around noon, receive an email from Peter. He's done some digging of his own, uncovered even more skeletons. In Amanda's closet, among them is evidence that she'd embezzled money from a small nonprofit she'd volunteered with. Years ago, he also found a record of her being sued by a former employer for breach of contract. Jesus, I mutter, scrolling through the attachments. Amanda's pattern of deceit goes far deeper than I realized. Forward everything to Henry, who calls me almost immediately. This changes everything, he says, his tone sharp. If we can corroborate this, we're no longer just looking at a divorce case. She could be facing criminal charges. The weight of his words sinks in. Amanda had always been reckless, but this was beyond anything I'd anticipated. Do it, I say. Verify everything and make it part of the case. By afternoon, Amanda's Facebook post has started to backfire. People are poking holes in her story, asking questions she can't answer. The more she tries to deflect, the more transparent her lies become. Rebecca texts me. She's unraveling. People are starting to see through her. Whatever you're doing, keep going. I will, I reply simply. That evening, receive another email, this time from the private investigator. He tracked down Stephen, the guy from the party, confirmed that Amanda had been stringing him along with promises of a future. Once she got rid of Ethan, Stephen, it turned out, had no idea she was married. Until recently, the investigator attached a statement from Stephen, along with texts Amanda had sent him. One line stands out. Don't worry about Ethan. He's too dumb to figure anything out. The words sting, but they also fuel my resolve. I wasn't dumb. I wasn't oblivious. And now I was in control. Emily's world is collapsing, faster than even I'd hoped. The lies are piling up, the evidence mounting, her allies dwindling. Tomorrow, Henry and I would file an amended petition. With everything we'd uncovered, Amanda wanted a war, and now she was drowning in it. I wasn't going to stop until every card she thought she held was ripped from her hands. The next morning, the storm intensifies. Amanda's attempts to control the narrative have spiraled into desperation. She's throwing everything she has into saving face. Henry calls early with an update. She's filing a response to your petition, he says. She's claiming you were emotionally abusive and sabotaged her ability to work. It's laughable given the evidence we have, but it shows how far she's willing to go. Rub my temples. Let her dig her hole deeper. The burner phone, Peter's emails, Stephen's statement, they're all lined up, right? Absolutely, Henry replies. Once we present this in court, her credibility will be shredded. But there's something else. What? She's trying to liquidate assets, Henry says grimly. We caught her attempting to transfer money from your joint account into a personal one. The court order froze it before the transaction went through, but it shows she's panicking. It was a reckless move, and it confirmed what I already suspected. Amanda was unraveling. But this wasn't just about the divorce anymore. The evidence Peter had uncovered about her embezzlement was a ticking time bomb. Henry had forwarded it to a contact in the local prosecutor's office. I knew it was only a matter of time before they started investigating. By mid-morning, decide it's time to turn up the heat. Call Rebecca. Ethan, she says cautiously. What's going on now? I need a favor, I say. Amanda's still trying to spin this as my fault. I need you to talk to her friends, the ones who haven't picked sides yet. Show them the burner phone screenshots. Let them see the truth for themselves. Rebecca hesitates. That's bold. You sure you want to go that far? She's already accused me of abuse, I say coldly. She's trying to destroy my reputation. I'm done playing nice. Rebecca sighs but agrees. I'll handle it. By early afternoon, the ripple effect begins. Rebecca texts me updates as she quietly shares the evidence with key people in Amanda's social circle. Rebecca just showed Lauren the screenshots. She's furious. Said she's done defending Amanda. Rebecca. Katie just called Amanda a narcissist. Didn't see that coming. Meanwhile, receive a call from the private investigator. Ethan, he says, I have more information. On the nonprofit embezzlement case, turns out the organization never pressed charges because Amanda agreed to repay the stolen funds quietly. I've contacted the director. They're willing to give a statement. Unbelievable, I mutter. Amanda's recklessness was catching up with her in ways she couldn't escape. The breaking point comes later that evening, sitting in my hotel room, reviewing the final draft of our amended petition. When my phone buzzes, it's Amanda. Debate ignoring it, but decide to answer. What do you want? I say coldly. There's a pause before she speaks, her voice trembling. Ethan, we need to talk face to face. Let out a bitter laugh. You're kidding, right? After everything you've done. Please, she says, her voice cracking. I'm serious. I made a mistake, okay? But we can fix this. Just come to the house. I'll explain everything. Her tone is desperate, almost pleading, but I'm not buying it. I'll pass, I say flatly. Anything you have to say, you can say through your lawyer. Ethan, she snaps, the desperation giving way to anger. You think you're so perfect, so innocent. Fine, let's see what happens. When I tell everyone what you're really like, you think I don't have dirt on you? You think I won't use it? Go ahead, I say calmly. But just know, Amanda, every move you make digs the hole deeper. You're out of cards to play. She's silent for a long moment. Before the line goes dead, set the phone down. My hands steady. This was her last stand. A desperate attempt to regain control, but it was too late. The evidence, the witnesses, and the truth were all stacked against her. By the end of the week, Henry and I would present everything to the court. Amanda's lies, her infidelity, her financial schemes. It would all come to light. And when it did, she wouldn't just lose the divorce. She'd lose everything. The courtroom is a quiet storm of tension, air thick with anticipation. Sit next to Henry, calm on the surface, but seething underneath. Across the aisle sits Amanda, her perfectly curated mask of innocence, cracking under the weight of what she knows is coming. The judge enters, and the proceedings begin. Amanda's lawyer tries to paint me as controlling and emotionally abusive, leaning into her narrative with dramatic flair. They present no real evidence, only Amanda's testimony, a web of lies designed to smear my character and justify her actions. Henry waits patiently, his demeanor steady and confident. When it's our turn, he begins dismantling their case piece by piece, starting with the burner phone. This is a critical piece of evidence, Your Honor, Henry says, holding up the phone. It contains text messages, photos, and call logs that document the respondent's infidelity and her intent to deceive my client. He reads a few select messages aloud, each one a dagger to Amanda's fabricated story. The courtroom is silent, except for the occasional gasp from the small gallery, but that was just the beginning. Henry introduces Peter's testimony next. He describes Amanda's pattern of manipulation and deceit, detailing how she had lied to him, cheated, and left him blindsided. His words are calm but damning. painting a clear picture of who Amanda really is. The final blow comes when Henry presents the evidence of her embezzlement from the nonprofit. He lays out the financial discrepancies, the repayment agreement, and the director's statement. Your Honor, Henry concludes, this is not the behavior of someone who was mistreated or controlled. This is a pattern of selfish, reckless decisions that have caused significant harm to my client and others. Amanda's lawyer tries to object, but the damage is done. The judge's expression grows colder with every revelation, and by the time Henry finishes, there's no doubt which way the scales are tipping. When Amanda takes the stand, she tries to muster her usual bravado, but it's clear she's unraveling. Her answers are evasive, her tone defensive, and her attempts to redirect blame fall flat. At one point, Henry asks her directly, Mrs. Daniels, can you explain why you attempted to liquidate assets from your joint account after being served with the court order? Amanda stammers, her composure faltering completely. I didn't know about the order, she says weakly. Interesting, Henry replies, his voice razor sharp. Because here's the timestamp showing the bank alert, notifying you the transaction was blocked. She's silent, her face pale. The judge doesn't need long to make a ruling. The evidence overwhelmingly supports the petitioner's claims, she says, her tone firm. The respondent's actions have demonstrated a clear pattern of dishonesty, infidelity, and financial irresponsibility. Therefore, I'm granting the divorce on grounds of adultery and awarding Mr. Daniels the majority of marital assets, including the house. Feel a weight lift off my chest. As the gavel strikes, Amanda's face is a mask of shock and fury, but I don't spare her a second glance. I had won, not just the case, but my freedom from her toxic web of lies. As I walk out of the courtroom, feel a strange mix of emotions, relief, vindication, and even a hint of sadness for the life we'd lost. But more than anything, feel ready to move forward. Amanda had tried to destroy me, but in the end, her lies had destroyed her instead. This was my closure, my clean slate, and as I step into the sunlight outside, know one thing for certain: she would never haunt my life again.